Our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle as to strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
A whole lot of eventful week, and of course today is, thank God, it's Friday, and a big welcome to Global Morning here on Global Television. My name is Adikan Michael. I have an highlight over the week, and of course some of the events trailing in the country has become a concern for the president, where President Tinubu has reiterated his administration resolve to pursue a very comprehensive economic security framework for the country. This is coming barely after a week of a invasion of the Oyo State House of Assembly and the Secretariat as well, due to the agitators of those Yoruba nation. And of course, the president addressed the challenges and creating a fair and equitable system in which all Nigerians can thrive. And this was a message of hope for the president when he was hosting leaders of Afenifere, one of the group of Yoruba at the State House in Abuja. This, of course, has put to rest the issues of agitations from the Yoruba nation and other ethnic groups in the country. But the most important thing to stress there is the fact that unity in the country is very much paramount in a time like this. What more can we begin to do to sustain this unity? I understand the different culture, different language, different religion playing in the midst, but we can also play a role to sustaining unity in the country. What best can you do? What best can I do? That's the message, because we cannot just only think of what the country can do for us. What can we also do for the country so that we can add means country? And one of the another breaking and interesting story over the week has been the fight of CBN to crash down dollar to naira in the country. It has been an eventful fight for the CBN from about 1,800, 900, taking it down to about 1,100 and 1,000 naira over the week. This has been in the official market. This has been issues of policies, implementations, moves by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and of course the corporation as well. I mean, from the black market, I'm talking of issues of dollars, the Dollars Association here in Nigeria. I mean, eventful of trying to cooperate and trying to make things work for the country as reflected. I mean, when we now understand the fact that when you go to the market, it is not being reflected on the prices of what you go to the market to buy. This has forced the Commission for Consumers Protection to hit up the street. Of course, locking up so many shops right now and all the supermarket, telling them you must in any way review the prices. This has been a concern of Nigerians about high cost of prices in the market. I mean, when you understand that dollar is down, but we're still finding very hard for this to reflect on the product you go to buy in the market, it is also a matter of concern. So the federal government have set up, a task force to invade several supermarkets. They've started yesterday in the Federal Capital Territory here, where they locked up some popular supermarkets here in the Federal Capital Territory. But what more to that is that government must also have a role to play in giving the market force a conducive environment to strive. One cannot bring import his or her goods from maybe the villages down to the city, and then you come to determine what the prices should be. This will form part of a discussion today on Global Morning, as we'll be having an expert and, of course, an economic development expert and public affairs analyst will be joining us to dissect what can government do away from just running after shop owners and supermarket owners. What can government do so that it can just not be, a one day on a 2 day stop after the lockup What happened to others? What is the sustainability of this effort by government? What more can be done, to regulate prices in the market force? And this will also form part of a discussion today here on Global Morning. And of course, it's a pleasure to welcome you to many issues we'll be raising. And of course, we'll also dissect a bit to issues of Wike winning over Atiku by the fact that the acting chairman Damagu has been asked to continue to act in that capacity. What happened to the agitations by the people of North Central? What happened to the agitations of the people of Benue? And this is also a political concern. And Wike, being in the APC in the night and also being in PDP in the morning, has also raised concerns by Nigeria. What is the fate of such a political move? What happened to the issues of sanctions on party disloyalties? And this will also be what we'll discuss today on the program. We're going to quick break right now. Once we return, we'll be taking a look at what we have, the package stories that we have for you from the text and texture, from the business package, and of course on the spot to bring to you the speed on what is the development so far in the country. Do stay with us. Fatima has takes on texture for you. And of course, let's take a look at what she was able to package for you this morning.
Hello and welcome to another pleasant tasting episode of Taste and Texture. I'm Fatimi Abu Umar. Today we'll be baking the coconut and banana loaf. The atmosphere is turning cooler. The leaves are falling. This tells me it's a time for warmer and hearty recipes. And what more screams fall than some warm banana bread? The mere thought of this bread gives me so much comfort. Treat yourself to the super moist, truly scrumptious coconut banana loaf bread. This has all the yummy notes of coconut and sweet bananas. Coconut banana bread is a yummy snack and goes with your morning or afternoon tea or coffee. Adding coconut to this all-time classic is a way to change up your flavor in a tasty way. And now to the ingredients. 2/3 cup of unsweetened desiccated coconut, 1 cup of dark or light brown sugar, honey, maple, golden syrup, anyone that works for you, 1/4 cup of raisin or black currant, 1/4 cup of butter, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, almond essence, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, half of an orange, its juice, 1 teaspoon. 3 overripe bananas. And now let's make it. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Mix the sugar and butter well. Mash the bananas. Break the eggs in a bowl. Mix the wet ingredients and set aside. Mix the dry ingredients in a bowl and set aside. In a bowl, mix the butter and sugar until creamy. Then using a spatula, mix it with the wet ingredients and the banana. Mix the flour, baking powder, and salt, then mix well. Add the ingredients to the wet ingredients in a bowl and mix well. Pour the vanilla extract and almond essence. Put in the coconut and fold. Try not to overmix. Pour the mix into the loaf pan that has already been oiled and dusted with flour. Gently spread the remaining desiccated coconut onto the dough and bake for 40 to 45 minutes. Or until you can stick a toothpick into it and it comes out clean. You can also line the pan with a parchment paper to prevent burning. Optional depending on the pan you're baking with. The result, as you can see, is a delicious one. A subtle hint of coconut flavoring and of course sweetness from the truly ripe bananas. Let it go in the pan for a few minutes. Then remove from the pan and place it onto a wire rack. Allow to cool completely. Slice and devour the dome of warmth, the crust cracking and bruised. The interior is soft, fluffy and piping hot. Each bite a tiny piece of heaven that melted in the mouth. That's all for now. See you same time for another mouth-watering episode of Taste and Texture. Bye.
Yeah, tomorrow is weekend. You can actually try what Fatima just showed you at home, of course, to have much test of it. All right, now we'll turn to Kikele Mokere for a business update to bring to you to speed what is happening in the world of business this morning.
Hello and welcome to Business Reports on Global Morning. The governor of Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, has addressed concern over the decline in external reserve, maintaining that the decline is not because the Apex Bank is defending Naira. Cardoso further clarified that the decrease in foreign exchange reserve were primarily due to debt repayment and other standard financial obligations, rather than efforts to defend the Naira. He also stated that there were no future intention to defending the currency with the external reserve, as it was counterintuitive since the Apex Bank was already implementing a willing buyer, willing seller policy. Governor Cardoso explained that the significant reduction in Nigerian external reserve is largely influenced by the country's need to fulfill its debt obligation, saying the financial activity is a routine policy essential for maintaining national credibility in the global financial arena. Nigeria expenditure on external debt servicing soared to $560 million in January 2024, marking a 339% hike compared to the previous year's $112 million. Willing buyers, willing seller policy reaffirming the central bank's commitment to a market-driven approach. Governor Olayemi Cardoso highlighted that the CBN advocates for currency prices to be determined by willing buyers, sellers without direct intervention from the bank. This policy aligns with the bank's broader philosophy of minimal interference. It says the intervention to BDC is targeted to ensure its effective integration into the broader market. He expressed a vision where the central bank will really need to intervene in the currency markets. The World Bank and the African Development Bank have announced plans to partner to provide access to energy for 300 million Africans by 2030. The plans will cost around $30 billion and is to be funded by the World Bank through the International Development Association and the African Development Bank, together with governments across continents and the private sector. According to the partnership during the panel session on Energizing Africa, what will it take to accelerate access and improve lives? At the World Bank Spring Meeting in Washington, D.C., President of the World Bank, Ajay Benga, says, for the plans to be brought to life, there is need for policy action from government as well as investment from the private sector and multilateral organizations. Mobile money operators, MMOs, in Nigeria, comprising the likes of OPay, PalmPay, and others, witnessed a surge in transactions in the first quarter of 2024, hitting 17.2 trillion naira. This is according to data released by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. The mobile bank transaction figure for first quarter of 2024 represents an 89% year-on-year growth when compared with the 9.1 trillion naira transaction recorded in same period in 2023. An analysis of the 3-month data shows that mobile money transaction maintains steady growth each month. In January, transactions valued at 5.2 trillion naira were recorded, and by February, mobile money deals shot up to 5.5 trillion naira. Kikele Mokere, Global Television News.
Well, sport is live, and of course, sport brings unity. What are more to sport this morning is what Anthony Mamodo has packaged for us. You this morning. Take a look.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Sports News Update. Kylian Mbappe reportedly sparked a 60-man brawl in the tunnel after Paris Saint-Germain's comeback win over Barcelona to reach the Champions League semi-finals. PSG earned a 4-1 win over Barcelona in the quarter-final second leg at the Olympic Stadium. Mbappe scored twice in the second half of the match as PSG fought back from a 2-goal deficit to secure a 6-4 aggregate victory. Barcelona-based newspaper Mundo Deportivo reported that a jubilant Mbappe enraged the Catalans in the tunnel post-match. Mbappe had reportedly shouted, "This is football and it is on the field where we have to talk," as the players headed back to the dressing rooms after the final whistle. More than one Barcelona player was claimed to have interpreted Mbappe's comment as being directed at them, leading to members of the team attempting to fight the French superstar in the tunnel. The report claims a crowd of more than 60 people became involved in a tunnel incident involving players, coaching staff, and security personnel. Pep Guardiola insisted Manchester City have no regret after Real Madrid wrecked their treble dream on Wednesday night. The City boss, who revealed that both Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland asked to be substituted, lavished praise on his players following the heartbreaking penalty defeat by the 14-time winners. Guardiola admitted that City weren't ruthless enough in the quarter-final second leg. They dominated and needs to pick his squad up ahead of Saturday's FA Cup semi-final with Chelsea. Jude Bellingham, who held his nerve in the shootout after Luka Modric missed, admitted that Real Madrid were relieved to progress given the host's concerted pressure. Eric Dyer admitted Bayern Munich's win over Arsenal in the Champions League made extra special because of his and Harry Kane's Tottenham connections. The Bavarians set up a mouth-watering semi-final against Real Madrid after winning 1-0 at the Allianz Arena, courtesy of Joshua Kimmich's goal and a 3-2 on aggregate. Dyer joined Bayern on loan in January, reuniting with his former Spurs teammate who swapped North London for Bavarian in a £100 million deal last summer, and the former England international considered the reigning Arsenal's European campaign was particularly satisfying. Speaking at full-time, Kane echoed his teammates' feelings, having made just 4 appearances with only one start under Angel Postecoglou this season. Dyer has been a regular in Thomas Tuchel's plans since joining Bayern. The 30-year-old has started 12 out of his 17 appearances and is clearly enjoying life in Germany. Pounds after losing an arbitration case to their former player. According to reports in September, Ronaldo, who now plays for Saudi side El Nassr, decided to take a legal action against Juventus over unpaid wages during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Portuguese forward wanted to be paid £17 million, the net amount that he was promised by the club when he agreed to defer his wages during the lockdown. Juventus players agreed to defer 4 months' worth of their salaries in March 2020 and April 2021 as the club were struggling financially, which was never received. The Italian side also failed to report these deferred wages, known as salary manovers, on their financial statement. According to Gazette, the arbitration tribunal, however, ruled that Ronaldo and Juventus share responsibility over the matter and ordered the club to pay half of the deferred wages. The 38-year-old left Juventus in August 2021 after spending 3 seasons at the club, where he scored 101 goals in 134 appearances in black and white. And that's how we call it a wrap on the sports news update. I am Anthony Momodu.
Many thanks to Anthony Kikolomo-Okere and Fatih for the package. Yeah, to you this morning. Yesterday we had the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board directing that all computer-based state center owners to arrest any parents they found near any of their facilities during the 2024 UTME exercise. The body said that all arrangements are being concluded for the conduct of this exercise and that any parents found at the facilities should be arrested. They issued the final briefing of the computer-based test owners were held with the boards and other directors and some parents due to other previous exercises. They have, one may begin to ask, what has been the role of parents in interference to candidates' participation in the JAMB. What are the definition of really JAMB? I mean, when you look at JAMB, you understand the evolution from the paper to bios, classroom writing, down to the computer-based tests. I mean, so many persons have a lot to say. Some malpractice, has it really been curbed? I mean, from the paper transaction to the digitalization. We've also had reasons where some persons have actually had a lot of clash, I mean, with JAMB. The recent one was a student of about, in Anambra State, where was challenging the result he had from JAMB, and JAMB also saying that it wasn't the result from JAMB. So, I mean, these contradictions and controversies is still very much pending within the sector. Away from that, what are the credibility of the candidacy should be the fact that one is able to speak, one is able to write and effectively getting back his result, being what is transmitted, and not issues where we are having so many results coming in at the end of the day, and then it gives room to universities to take on the edition. I've also seen people goes into university without even having the JAMB. Some results are being faked, manipulated, and all of it. So the JAMB must sit up. I understand what parents may do at the result of coming around to have the awards or the child writing the exams. But what does it get to warrant an arrest of the parents? Is it bad for some parents, innocent parents, to say, coming with the awards to write examinations? And does it speak to the fact that some of them are given support? Have our society really lost out? The social decadence. Have we really lost our morals where parents are supporting their children to actually cheat on the exams? We do not really understand why the steps to arrest parents in the facilities of CBT owners. But then we got to find out what has been the experience of JAMB and parents, issues of parents and all of that. But I understand that they are not even the one in charge of the different malpractice. The CBT owners are the ones. There are some centers that they called it miracle centers. What does the miracle center mean? A miracle center simply means you can come here and write, and definitely you'll be sure of having, a pass in the JAMB and all of that. These are the owners. These are the people that I feel JAMB should really go after, because they are the ones really manipulating the system and making it difficult for them. But I understand JAMB has good intention to making sure that the graduates that we're having and the students that we're having in our universities or filing in a university are authentic, and these are the persons that could be able to match up to the expectation demands of the university system in the country. When we understand that we already have other issues in the university, JAMB also recruiting students should also be a sector that's really scrutinized properly, so that we can actually have a system that works better from the recruitment process to the schooling process and to the graduating process. All of these are what the Nigerian government should be able to look. And JAMB, if you're fighting the parents, also be able to raise your bulls against the CBT owners, because they are also not exonerated from the crisis and the problems that we're having in the issues of examination. We want the best for students. Of course, we want the best for Nigeria, so that we can actually we can vow for so many graduates we are producing, and not those coming from the backyards and having questionable characters. We'll go on a quick break right now. So once we return, of course, we'll be taking an highlight of what was the breaking news over the week, and thereafter will be the news here on Global Morning. Stay with us.